Good evening, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us. Tonight on the show, Talk and Fight, we have Neil the Deal. He's going to talk about a couple of Canadian Hall of Famers in individual segments, of course, as we always do it. First up, George Chuvalo. As an aside, Neil, I met George way back in the 70s when I was working at the Holiday Inn out in Oshawa. He came into the restaurant where I was a waiter. He's a great guy, smart guy, really polite guy, and unbelievably, I'd have to say, a bit of a gentle giant. What's your impression of him?
Yeah, Graham, that's a good analogy of George. I haven't had the graciousness of being able to meet him as of yet, but I'm looking forward to it, George. You're one of my favorite guys. You're probably the best #1 Canadian icon, Hall of Fame boxer we ever created. Thanks a lot for everything, George. So we're just going to talk to the people. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for watching tonight. We're going to talk about a guy named George Chuvalo. George was a heavyweight boxer, 5-time Canadian champion. He was born September 12th, 1937, which makes him 83 years old now. So the gentleman is 83 years old, and he's still out and about in the community doing a lot of things for the youth, etc. We'll get into that a little later in the show. But George was always a fantastic guy. Now, he was born in Toronto, Canada, to Croatian immigrants. So he's an immigrant from Croatia. His parents were anyways. And they actually spell his name without the H. It's Chuvalo or Chuvalo without the H. So I guess when they came to Canada, they added the H. I guess that's just what happens with the Europeans. So he's 83 years old now. He had an illustrious career here in Canada. I'm sure most boxing people in Canada have a bit of an idea of what Mr. Chuvalo did over his career. But amazingly enough, we're going to go through his stats. All right. So total fights, 93. 93 fights in his career. That's a hell of a lot of fights. He had 73 wins. All right. 73 wins out of 93. 63 knockouts. Okay. 63 knockouts. That is a massive amount of guys that are hitting the canvas. He only had 18 losses and 2 draws. What do you think of that kind of those stats, Graham? What do you think? What do you think is he?
You know what's funny? It just reminded me. It's how come we don't make the comparable like they do in baseball with either an on-base percentage or batting percent? Like, how come we don't do that in boxing? You know, like as opposed.
Let's start that. I like that. What I'm going to do going forward is we're going to get a percentage of knockouts to fights. All right. So I'll figure that out with my. So let's just do it here. So he had 93 fights and he had 63 KOs. So you're looking at about a 80% knockout rate right there. He knocked out 80% of the guys he was ever in the ring with. That's pretty, maybe more, a little more. That's an impressive stat right there. That's a very impressive stat. You people need to understand that being a fighter is not a glamorous job, but it's definitely a rewarding, and you certainly become a better person for it. So any of the kids out there, guys, just keep it up a little bit at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Just go to the gym, practice hard. You'll become something. All right. So let's go through his career. He became a Canadian amateur heavyweight champion in May 1956. He finished his amateur career 16-0 with 16 knockouts. This is a pretty illustrious amateur career, basically, and none of his fights lasted more than 4 rounds in his amateur career. So he basically wiped out anybody who stepped in the ring with him. He turned pro in 1956 in a tournament held by Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey was a past world champion. So if you guys want to look up Jack Dempsey, he's an older icon than George, and he was definitely one of the guys that created the sport. Now, that was in Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens. That was April 26th, 1956 was the tournament. Chuvalo fought 4 times in the same day. See that? 4 times 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times in the same day and knocked all 4 guys out in less than 4 rounds. 3 of them lasted 1 round, and 1 guy lasted, I think, 2 rounds. So anyways, nobody, that's when they knew, hey, this guy's a special talent. We got to check him out. Now, notable fights. Basically, he fought Muhammad Ali twice. Both went the distance, all right? Losing both by unanimous decision. It was a large margin loss. Sorry, George, you'll admit it yourself. You got outclassed by the Mohammed man, Mr. Clay, and but you showed up. You're the only guy to last 15 rounds with him. And that in itself is amazing. The first fight was March 29th at Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens, 1966. He fought Ali in the Gardens here in Toronto. And the second fight was May 1st, 1972 in Vancouver, I believe, somewhere out west. So he lost them both, but hey, he showed up. That's what it's all about. You got to show up, right? Do your best. That's all you can do. George always did his best, just like everybody out there. You guys should be doing your best, whatever you're doing. So after the fight, Ali literally basically said to him, well, he said to the people, this guy is the toughest guy I ever fought. So you got Muhammad Ali saying George Chuvalo was the toughest guy he ever fought. That's how tough George is, man. You're a tough cat, George. Anyways, later in his retirement, he retired in I believe it was 1978. So his career was 1956 to 1978. So that was his elusive career, those years to years. But he had some problems going as an older guy and retiring. Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys know the story. In his retirement, he had 3 of his children tragically die of drug overdose suicide. They all took their own lives, as well as unbelievably his wife of the time also committed suicide. So poor George lost his whole family to drugs and alcohol. And now he's decided that he's going to open up his community center, which he did back in 1993, I believe. No, I'm wrong. 2013 or 14. He opened up a community center, a rec center for children, for the youth, for the kids to have recreational programs, as well as the LGBTQ children and youth to have a place to go and hopefully solve some of their problems. So he's had a very tragic situation, probably from about 1985 to 1996 was that span of time that was very dark in George's days, but he's been able to plow through because he's a fighter. He's a fighter and he don't give up. All right, George, I'm proud. I'm so proud to even be able to talk about you. It breaks my heart to even talk about it, but God bless you, man. You're an amazing, amazing Canadian. Now, just to basically end it all, we'll just go through some of his awards, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and then you guys can actually see what kind of a humanitarian he's been. He's been recognized around the world, okay, for being the man that he is. He's a Canadian Sports Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 1990. Ontario Sports Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 1995. World Boxing Hall of Fame, inducted 1997. He received the Order of Canada. The Order of Canada. This guy got the Order of Canada. 1998. All right. He received the Queen Elizabeth II Golden Jubilee Medal in 2002, which is unbelievable. I mean, the guy knows the Queen. This guy knows the Queen. Oh my gosh. Anyways, he also has a star on the Canada's Walk of Fame, which he received in 2005. And then finally, he got the Queen Elizabeth II. Again, he meets the Queen. Again, he's so good. And he gets the Diamond Jubilee Medal, 2012. So, George, I got to tell you, I can't think of a better role model for all Canadian kids. And thank you very much for everything, Graham. And thank you very much for watching, guys. And George, if you're out there, I love you, George. Thanks a lot, eh?
That was awesome, Neil. Thanks very much. Thanks for filling us in on a great life, a great man, a great boxer, George Chuvalo. And for all you guys out there listening, watching, please subscribe to our channel, like and share us. If you will, that'd be great. We'll see you next time. Thanks very much, Neil. Thanks very much for watching us.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming out. And always remember, stay off the pipe and don't forget to wipe.